MRC-TV readers and viewers likely are aware of our reports going back years that expose the cozy relationships between many government figures and special interests in the ever-widening, increasingly subsidized green technology and climate change fields. From the stunning lack of evidence to support the political claim that mankind is causing a global warming apocalypse, to the annual COP gatherings where bureaucrats, politicians, non-governmental organizations, NGOs, and crony corporate heads oft fly their private jets, enjoy air conditioning and other amenities, and tell us we can't eat meat or fertilize soil or have air conditioning, to the literal connections between current Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm and a failed electric bus maker that favored her with nearly $3 million worth of stock options before she joined the Biden administration, to the abundant evidence of data manipulation by members of the climate cult. We've seen years of fabrications, confabulations, conceit, deceit, arrogance, immorality, and political disregard for private property, freedom, and the U.S. Constitution. And guess what? The Biden gang is doing it again. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV. You know, Thomas Catenacci reports on this for the Washington Free Beacon. Quote, the Biden administration finalized climate regulations to ban most natural gas-powered instantaneous water heaters, a move that critics say will drive up costs for consumers, end quote. Indeed, anyone who understands the wide range of consumer needs that manufacturers and sellers try to fill will see that the new Bidenista regulations, as they call them, will eliminate many options for those who want affordable water heaters. But the entire idea of the government calling the edicts regulations or rules hides the truth of the matter. These are political thugs with government guns and our tax money telling peaceful people what they can and cannot buy or sell. And by issuing their commands, the thugs steer markets towards what they prefer, replacing our decisions with their own and warping the market in secondary ways tied to the expansion of the preferred sellers who increase their own demand for their preferred materials when the government artificially pumps up their businesses and pumps out lower-priced competitors. Notes Catenacci, quote, the Department of Energy, which formally published the rules the day after Christmas, didn't issue a press release announcing the action, a departure from past appliance regulations. The published rules say the regulations are expected to help the climate by curbing carbon dioxide emissions, end quote. Which, as we have reported many times for MRC-TV, is an assumption that is not backed up by valid data. And even if it were, the U.S. government has no place constitutionally or morally telling people what they can and cannot buy. Catenacci adds, quote, overall, under the regulations, roughly 40% of the new tankless water heaters available in the United States today will be taken off the market by 2029. Experts and industry officials say that will force consumers to purchase either more expensive or less efficient water heater models. One industry analyst estimates that consumers will pay $450 more on average when purchasing new water heaters thanks to the regulations. And that will impact low-income and senior households, which are most reliant on the models targeted by the Department of Energy, end quote. So, fewer options on the lower end of the price and efficiency range, less competition, and fewer people on the lower end of the income scale having the ability to get good, quick, hot water. Quote, the rules apply to instantaneous water heaters, of which there are two types, non-condensing and condensing. but the rules hike efficiency requirements to a threshold that only condensing models can meet, effectively banning the cheaper but less efficient non-condensing models. End quote. This comes on the heels of many government impositions that they claim are for our good. But if they're so good, the government gang could leave their public troughs and enter the free market, offering them to people rather than manipulating and strangling the free market and our freedom in the process. Catenacci adds, quote, "The new regulations also highlight how the current administration has targeted home appliances to reduce carbon emissions and drive a green transition to electric products. The Department of Energy faced widespread blowback in early 2023 after it targeted popular gas-powered stoves and has continued to receive criticism for rules restricting refrigerators, furnaces, dishwashers, and clothes washers." It's one more example of an appliance regulation that raises costs and reduces choices. Ben Lieberman, a senior fellow at the Competitive Enterprise Institute, told the Washington Free Beacon it bans an entire category of tankless water heaters and the ones that are most affordable. End quote. Lieberman's perspective is very valuable. In fact, he easily gets to the root of the matter. Quote, "This is all part of the climate change agenda," Lieberman continued. "One of the things we see is an antipathy towards natural gas versions of appliances because natural gas is a fossil fuel, and they want to electrify everything. When you see bad regulations from the Biden administration, usually it has something to do with climate change." End quote. We're almost near the end, and yet Joe and his jackals continue to bite. This is going to harm many low-income Americans, the very people Joe claimed to understand and for whom he pretended to fight. And it might come as no surprise that after 4 years of these kinds of attacks, the Biden administration would engage in one last push of insulting and injurious mandates to hurt our lives and our living standards. Well, one can only hope that Donald Trump will reverse these edicts and acknowledge the deeper truth that James Madison told us in the early 1800s, that the feds aren't supposed to engage in any of this kind of activity. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe. Follow us, of course, on Facebook. See us at MRCTV.org. Check out the store while you're there, and please consider donating to the Media Research Center. Check us out on TikTok, on Instagram, and of course on X. And if you want to find me on Gab, I'm at Gardner Goldsmith on Gab, and on X, I'm at Gard Goldsmith. Please share the videos far and wide. Find us on Rumble where they don't censor us, and send those videos around to some friends if you can. For MRC-TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.